Good morning. How's everybody? I hope you are ready to get cold because it is going to be freezing this weekend. But you know what? Sometime when it's cold, it gives you energy. Because do you ever notice how much faster you move outside when it's cold to get in the house? It's like, holy crap, I got to get this baby moving. So I am so happy. It is Friday. It is the Rise and Grind show. And today we have an amazing show. We are talking about the moon, which it's about the kind of weather we're going to have here in Calgary this weekend. Like whether you're here or on the moon, it'll be about the same. And let me bring my first guest on board, the amazing national corporate sponsor, Nancy Seeger.
Well, I don't know if you saw my post this morning, Brigitte, but I was telling people you got to join us because Brigitte's energy will definitely take you up for the rest of the day.
Oh, I didn't see that. Did you like that introduction? It's almost like it's a wrestling match. Hey, have you ever heard my story about the go-go boots?
No, I haven't. I'll have to catch
That's
them.
one of my stories. As a young girl, my mom bought me and my sister a pair of go-go boots. And I was so excited because, my mom, if you look on my Facebook account today, used to cut my bangs up here and dress my sister and I the same. And she would buy us like ponchos. And I was always a tomboy. And when I got those go-go boots, I was blown away. I was so excited because I thought they were wrestling boots. God, I got wrestling boots. Yes. So
And you know what? What's the difference, really?
Whether you think they're wrestling boots or not, you're right.
It's all about perception, right? So
Totally. And the same thing in our business. Okay, ladies. So if you are here, say hello. We are going to talk about the moon today. And I want to bring my guests on board because we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Let's bring on board our mystery guest this week, Dana Da Ponte. Oh, God, did I pronounce this right? You just told me. Da Ponte, right?
It's Da Ponte, yeah, Da Ponte.
Okay, I'm the French. We always add a little extra.
It's true.
We always got to add that little Da Ponte.
Exactly, yeah.
How are you, Dana?
I'm doing great. So nice
All
to be
right.
here.
So today we are going to talk. Oh, look, we have, Heidi's come on board. Good morning, Heidi. Now, if you're on there and you're listening and you're excited about learning about the moon and the moon cycle, you're in the right place. So Dana, tell us about you. What's your story?
Well, for me, I'm going to actually tie that a little bit to the moon itself and even why I got interested in this, because for me, I've been really, the work that I've been doing for the last 20 years is connecting with the angels. But ever since I moved here to Bragg Creek, because before I was near Edmonton, and this might just be because I got near the crazy, Brigitte, is probably maybe why, but all of a sudden the moon became very, very important. And it became so important for me to connect with it, not only in my own personal life, but also for my business. And especially because of the cyclical nature and the way that influences me, my clients, and the energy around me, which for me as a highly sensitive person, which, you're a highly sensitive person when your nervous system just tends to be easily overwhelmed by a lot of information. And for me, the moon has been so helpful in helping me to adapt with that and maybe step out and not be as much of a hermit, because I start to understand what all of that energy is happening outside, outside my world, outside my business. So
tell me, why is it that sex is better during a full moon?
She goes right.
I go right to the point, baby. Right, you guys, those of you who are listening, what do you think? do you get a little more excitable when it's a full moon?
Well, yeah. And okay, so the thing to understand about the moon is that it reflects our inner world of intuition, creativity, and emotions. So hence why when the moon is building up all of that energy, as it goes through from that new phase, and I'm just going to show it because I think that that's really helpful for us to know that there's all those like phases that it goes through, the new moon all the way building. That energy that hits when it hits that full moon phase, basically things are getting intense. Like the energy is getting intense. So whatever sign the moon is in is going to affect the energy all around us. So sometimes, I don't know if sex is always more intense and exciting when the moon is full, because I think the moon is really moody. And so it depends what sign it's into, right? It's and I'm not, I am definitely not an astrologer at all. That is not my expertise, but it's so simple to really get in line with what's going on with the moon that you don't have to be like a complete expert to really line up with what's going on and learning how to use it.
So what do you do with your customers? Like, what do you do? Like, do you read angel cards? Like, you use the moon? Like, how does that go into your business?
Yeah, well, I use it with my clients. I use it a lot within the Moon Sister Circle. So the whole, it's a year-long program, and we use art and the phases of the moon in order to really start to get introspective about our internal world of feelings and our intuition and our emotions. Because also that you were talking about that energy of the full moon, that's also when it's really a lot, they kind of describe it as the veil being thinner between our world and spirit, right? Yeah, and I love what Brenda's saying here right now, how it affects the tides of the ocean. That is such a great thing to remember when you're wondering why, if you're really attuned, sometimes you can really feel how much it's affecting you or the people around you. And it's so amazing when you think, wow, that in the world that I live in, where it's a lot symbolism, there's a lot of metaphor, and water is symbolic of emotions. So, if the moon has the power to pull the water on the earth like that, imagine what it's doing to our inner world of feelings and emotions, and it's affecting it. It really does affect it. It's not whether or not it does or does not affect it. It's whether or not you're attuned to feel the effect or not, right? That's more what really is happening.
So before we met you, before we started the show, you asked me for my birth date. What do you do with that?
Well, for me, what I found really interesting when I started to explore this was, so when you're born and they ask you, you figure out what your sign is. Like, I know I was born in May, so mine's Gemini. What is when someone asks you, what's your sign? Brigitte, what's your sign?
Taurus. Stubborn as hell.
Right. Nancy, what's yours?
I'm a Libra.
Libra. Okay. So that would be your sign. That means that's what the sun, that's the sign, the astrological sign the sun was in on the day you were born. And that it more exhibits your external traits. So the way people perceive you, the way you act, the way you come across. But your moon sign is where the moon was. What sign the moon was in on the day you were born. So
I've never heard that before.
Right. And that'll be far more. And a lot of moon sisters, when we go through this, they recognize, holy cow, that sign describes me a lot more, because it describes how you feel inside, not how people perceive you, but how you're feeling and your emotional world and your inner world of thoughts and feelings, right? So it's so easy to find out what your moon sign is. Like, Google is awesome. And all you have to do is, what sign was the moon in on, then you put your birthday. So mine would be May 22nd, 1974. That's all you have to do is Google that and you'll find your answer. And yours, actually, Brigitte, is Leo. So I'm going to describe a little bit of Leo, and you tell me if this feels a little bit like your personality or how you feel inside, right?
Okay.
So very creative, Doesn't mind being in the spotlight.
Oh, that's so wrong.
Yeah, so wrong. Like Leo is the sign that's like, oh, hello, I love this spotlight, shine it on me. Yeah, and when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that is so Brigitte. So awesome. I love it.
That is hysterical.
I know, lots of confidence, a courage, leader, enthusiastic, always enthusiastic, and then enthusiasm that's like contagious, right? So contagious, and really care very, very deeply and very generous. So, which I think is so great for a leader to also, be more prone to those qualities. And it's not that we don't all have these qualities. It just means, the way I use astrology, again, not being like an expert astrology, but I just use it for the moon to just help me, give me a point to get to know myself a little bit better, right? Because once you realize, okay, that's how I tend to react. I remember when I read my moon sign and I'm like, oh my goodness, I did not realize how affected that is so true for me. And so it helped me to understand my personality, a lot like those personality tests that are out there, that just helps you to zone in a little bit more about what's going on for you, what might be a strength, right? Or what might be a difficulty or a setback.
I just find that fascinating. I never knew about your moon sign. Did you know, Nancy?
No, this is all new to me.
I know. I love my woo-woo sisters.
They're awesome.
I know I've been joking about that a lot lately, but it's like, I was for years, my life was hockey. I was in a very masculine energy, and then a switch went off and I went into women talk, and it's like, I'm discovering all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
what an experience that must be for you too, Brigitte. Like, how interesting that you get to navigate both these worlds and even come into that, the atmosphere you're in now with all of that knowledge that you accumulated in that atmosphere. Like, what an amazing, awesome blend, because they would be two perspectives that I could imagine would lend to such success when you blend the two,
Yeah. And the fact that I'm gay again is like, I see both sides. I have dated guys. It was like many moon ago, and I gave that up a long time ago, but So, and the native word about being two-spirited, I do feel that.
Yeah.
And I feel that, like, not only my sexuality, like the gay thing, but also having lived my life in a very masculine energy, and now being surrounded by all these amazing sisters, that are into the spiritual world. And I'm just like, whoa. And I'm sitting right smack in the middle.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Pretty amazing. I love that. And I think what's neat about the moon is it represents, like, the sun would represent your hockey past, and the moon would represent your woman talk kind of present, right? What you're describing. Because the moon is more that feminine place, which is why I do it so much with Moon Sisters, because it's also the place where most of us have disconnected from. Our culture tends to run way more in the masculine energy. And so it's really nice just to reconnect with our wildness and our inner world, that is really symbolic of connecting with the moon.
Yeah, and I think our world has been it has been ruled too much by masculine energy. From what I understand of the history, it used to be a lot more feminine energy, a lot more balance, and then it went totally crazy.
Yes, yeah.
And now it seems to be a shift happening.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That people,
an exciting and helpful shift.
So give me an example of, like, this is my hockey side of me, my very practical. So an example, how do you use the moon? Like, would you make decisions based on what's happening with the moon?
I would in my business because I'm highly sensitive. So sometimes if you're sensitive to the energy and the emotions of others, then it's really helpful. Oh, look, Sherry's saying her moon sign's Leo too. That's funny.
And she's a Taurus as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's interesting.
you're like a copycat, man.
Yeah.
I love it. That's why
Totally,
you're
you're
part of my
twin.
tribe.
Yeah, you're
by the way,
astrological twin.
I wanted to show this to everyone because that's like so cool. There you go. Oh, wait, I'm covering up. There you go. Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah. So the decisions I would make, like for me, this is how I use it. And I know I help my clients use it in a little bit different ways, but I would use it, to know when's a good time to be promoting or marketing. Because there's certain days, like on days when the moon's in Leo is a really good day to be promoting and marketing. And the moon goes through all of the signs in 1 month. So there's you can look at the moon calendars online and you'll see where the moon is, what sign it's in on any given day. And for me, if you got a full moon in Leo, you're talking the intense, awesome energy of a full moon. And then you add it with Leo. Oh my goodness, like book anything that you can do your promoting with, your marketing with, anything that, shines a light on you, like getting an article out. So anything that would just really highlight you and your abilities to a greater audience, that's, when I would plan that. You'd have all the energy supporting you. It doesn't mean it's going to be great, but it's just.
So I should host my conference and conventions when the moon is in Leo. Because then my crazy wacky side can really shine.
It's true. It's true.
All right. What is so Susan says she's a Taurus with moon in Virgo.
Yeah. So what would be helpful is just to when you read online and you're reading about the moon signs, it's a little bit different. So I just personally, I was using a book called Moonology, and it's a really, really great book for that because it explains, how that particular sign is going to affect your own personal emotions and feelings and inner world.
So cool. It's all this stuff I didn't know. And I think, so Nancy, who's our national corporate sponsor, is helping me build all my lists and my automation. She's an amazing, amazing businesswoman and really, really good at marketing. So do you use any of that stuff at all, Nancy?
Well, I always tell people to know their audience. So, I mean, part of what Dana's talking about is recognizing cycles. And you may not, depending on your business, you may not be in a position to actually find out all the moon signs for all your clients, but you can look at how they react. You can look at, are they booking calls with you on those days? What are your most prosperous activities? When are they actually converting to sales versus just wanting to have a chat with you? And so you can look at those things in your business to get to know a little bit more about your client and then automate based on your energy and what you need to be putting out to the world at the times that work for you. And you're going to be tapping in and drawing more of your own audience at those moments in time. Like Dana says, if you're a Leo and you're doing things in that right moment, you're going to close a lot more sales at that time than you would somewhere else. So knowing your rhythms are critically important. And then you can use measurements within your marketing, if it's done correctly, to actually get to know some of your clients and where are the most popular and also the people that are the most fun to work with. Because you're going to start looking at when they actually want to hear from you and who you really enjoy having for a client. Because we all know you don't always get the perfect clients every time, right? Not like
Except
Bridget.
for me.
Client, right?
I get all perfect clients. It's totally awesome. I know. And everything has a cycle.
It does. Every business has a cycle. And here's a really powerful tip. What Dana talks about. So our tip of the week would be, if you know your cycle, make sure that your marketing is tapped into that, because the reality is that you're going to draw more of the audience that wants to work with you at that point in time. Know where your audience is. Like I said, you can collect all the data on them, but it's really valuable to be delivering your best when you're at your best. So if you know your cycle, and that gives you an opportunity to stand out, because as Dana says, the moon goes through a full cycle every month. That doesn't mean you have to promote on Black Friday when everybody else promotes. You promote when it works for you, and you will stand out and you will deliver more value and you'll close more sales.
And even, for example, doing this show, you know, I'm a total morning person. I get up at 4:30 a.m. That's when my energy is at its peak. And, you know, we're debating, oh, do I want to do this at night? But it's like, no, I'm going to do it in the morning because that is when I rock, is first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of my favorite saying, which applies to the moon, applies to your business cycle and everything, is this too shall pass. Right? When you're hitting a really rough spot, this too shall pass.
Yep.
So true.
Well, so Dana, if you had one tip to give us about the moon cycles, what would it be?
I'd really tap into them for planning with business, because when it comes to you know, this is the way that it's really been super helpful for me, is understanding that when you get to the new moon is when you think of it like you're putting a seed in really rich, beautiful black dirt. So you're giving your intentions, your vision, your dreaming. That's when you would be doing those types of activities for your business, is during that new moon. And then at the full moon, when the energy has shifted, that's like the time of harvest. If you think of it as like even just a big pregnant belly, it's the time when things are ready to be let go. So for my business, that's when I'm sitting down and my personal life, but I'm releasing all of the emotions and all of the things that I don't, not just the emotions, but the experiences that I felt throughout the other moon cycle. I'm letting go of what doesn't serve me so that my intentions can actually come true. Because there's going to be things in my personality, there's going to be things from my past, there's going to be things from my experiences, and there's going to be stuff from my subconscious mind, which that part, you know, clearing the blocks from the subconscious mind, that is so my jam, that is so my passion, that is so where I do my best work, is clearing all of those obstacles that prevent us from achieving our dreams in the business world. And if you can tap into understanding what some of those are and burn them, just build a big fire, write it down on a piece of paper and burn it, you know? Yeah. And Cherie's mentioning the new moons is this Monday. And that would be a great time to plant some seeds of intentions. And I just want to talk a second about the new moon in Aquarius, because that's the sign it's in on Monday. And so the way that works in business for our businesses is like to plant the seed of your intentions about what you want to give back to your community, how your business wants to give back to your community, because Aquarius is so community oriented. So it's really good to think, oh, okay, how can my business really spread its influence out into the community, and look at and really own the value that you bring to your community? You know, really own the value that your business brings to your community and what you want to grow and what seeds you want to plant in that arena.
Very cool. So do you actually, in your work, do you do this for your customers? Like, for example, if I want to plan my year according to moons and all this stuff, like, where do I go? Because I don't have time to sit down and figure all that stuff out. So
yeah, for sure. I actually hold a retreat every year near January where we do that. That's what we do. We do a business. It's moon magic for entrepreneurs.
Oh my God. Have you held it already? Because I think you may need to hold another one.
Yeah.
We're going to talk.
Yeah.
I like that. That's fascinating.
Oh yeah, it's fun. And we even do a painting that holds your intention, because we do some seed planting too. So it's fun.
Ooh, look at you. Yeah. You're full of surprise. Now, I must tell you that Dana is a brand new Women Talk member. And she tells me that she's an introvert and does not like speaking per se, but oh my God, you are amazing. You are really good.
Oh, thanks, Brigitte. I appreciate that.
She's amazing. I think that, you know, your story matters and you need to put it out there a little bit more, my friend, because
we need to know all that stuff.
Yep. More people need to hear it.
And here's the thing, right? Like we all have this thing that we're good at. And I find that speaking is one of the best ways. So yes, you can do the one-on-one and you can do the written stuff, but when people can listen to you speak and tell your story and share your knowledge, and you can do it in front of 20, 30, 100, 2,000 people, you can affect so many more people. That's why I love public speaking, and I love shining the light on women like you, Dana.
Oh,
That
thank you
was
so much.
fantastic. So much, like I didn't know any of that stuff. It was awesome.
Oh, thank you, Bridget. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
All right. Well, we are going to convince you to do a live talk one of these days. So I adore you. Now, you guys, if you want to learn more about Dana and what she does, you can look down below in the comments, and we have her website and her Facebook link and a fabulous picture of her with all this wood behind you. Were you chopping wood or something? You kind of look a little bit lumberjackish, and that
was in my backyard. I love it. Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
I was like, what's with all the logs behind her? Like, is she French or something? Like, is she trying? But it certainly ain't any worse than that beautiful picture I posted this morning with my bangs up here, which I am convinced is considered child abuse, mother. If you're listening. Okay, well, thank you for joining us, Dana. That was fabulous.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thanks, Dana.
All right. And Nancy, you stay with me for a second. So we just had, hold on a second. I need to, there we go. Oh, no, it went back on my thing. Okay, there we go. So we just had our list building 101 workshop this last Friday.
That's
and that was amazing. Like a lot of the women in the room have never used all these programs. And what did you take out of it? Teaching like brand new women this world of yours.
Well, it's interesting. You know, of course, you and I talked beforehand, and we modified some of the exercises a little bit to explore, but the feedback was fantastic. I love Women Talk because you do get rich, honest feedback really quickly. And it was really fascinating to see the transformation. Some of the women were, really needed that extra little bit that we spent extra time on at the beginning there to help them get clarity on their messaging, to help them understand how they bring value to the world. And so it was awesome to teach this group of women, and we'll be doing it again soon because what I learned from that group, the biggest takeaway is there's so many opportunities for these women. You have such a powerful tribe, and we're going to change a lot of the economy here if all of these businesses start to really take off. I got to tell you, that's one of my dreams, is to grow women businesses, and your tribe is fantastic, Bridget.
Woohoo! We are all INNERpreneurs.
Yes, definitely.
From the inside out, and use your gifts. Speaking of which, oh, what a great segue that was. You get to run your business. Okay, I just want to let you know today is the last day that you can buy your tickets for this amazing workshop that's starting tomorrow with Monique McDonald, who's flown here. She's arriving at noon, and it is life-changing. Discover your sacred gifts. It will change how you operate in your life because it changes how you see people, and it changes how you view yourself and the things that you may direct your life towards because you didn't realize this stuff about yourself. It's really amazing. Now, if you're a Women Talk member, it's only $187. If you're not a Women Talk member, why aren't you? And you can still join and get the discount. You join first, then get the discount. But if you're not a member, it's $297. It's 2 full days, 9 to 6, Saturday and Sunday. And it's a workshop that really, really could change your life. I know it changed mine. So thank you very much, Nancy. You are a lifesaver to Women Talk and our members. I am so grateful that you are a national corporate sponsor, and everything you do for me. I know I'm driving you crazy because I keep popping up. brain's always, you know what? The way I would describe you, since we've been working together often, is often we're on the phone, so I don't really see you, but I can feel you. You're like a deer in the headlights, trying to figure out what the hell is she doing now?
Well, it's kind of like, okay, what can I say? Because I know if I say anything, you're going to take action. So I have to temper my words to make sure I don't send you down a rabbit hole somewhere over there.
Like, I'm on it. I got this. Well, thank you very much. And hey, you guys, tell your friends, share the show, because that moon stuff was amazing. And have a fabulous weekend. And we'll see you next Friday. Bye.
Take care, guys.